Hi, David. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Hey, so that's a pretty intense documentary. How did you first get introduced to that topic?
A topic came up. The push-up challenge passed around Facebook that mentioned that veteran suicide was a certain number, and I said, "What could I do inside?" And it sprouted as a potential as I could make a documentary about a horse program that my friend needed a ride to get there one day. I stepped out, met the president. She said, "What do you do, David?" I am in television and film production as a crew member with another past history that got me to that point. And she said, "You should do a documentary about this." And that was the tie-in with how could I pick that? That's how.
I mean, I love it, and also, I mean, this had to have been a long process. I mean, I actually had a question tied to that before, but how long did it take you? How long of filming? How much time of footage
That
did you?
was about 2016 in June that I met this project, and it sprouted that it came out in that June 2016, and then finished editing at the very end, beginning of this year, end of last year, beginning of this year, did those final touches, and so about 3.5 years of shooting got this product.
Wow. I mean, it's absolutely amazing, as everyone, can see. And I mentioned before, before we went to the pause, before we got to the Q&A with you, that I love any documentary that introduces me to something I had no idea about, something that I didn't know existed, something that's as important as this is absolutely amazing. Where did you, okay. I like this. A lot of people, I've mentioned this before. You guys don't know, filmmakers will often list their specs and they'll list the budget. This is probably one of the biggest budget films that's been submitted to our festival. How did you, I know you guys had a GoFundMe. What were some other ways that you guys were able to help make this happen?
You guys is me, David. I pieced this together as a project. It spoke to me when I met the way I could help. It was to make a documentary about this. And that took me on what I thought was going to be a few months of shooting into the longer realization. And, it added up that I needed this, that, this, that. And finally, at the end, it found its way to, the editing, the editor who did an amazing job with the footage I collected over the time. But I worked on TV shows in Chicago and films in Chicago as a crew member. Took my money, flew someplace, interviewed somebody, went back to work, X amount of time. And then when something else needed to be added to the story that I was looking to tell, I got in a plane and went or drove or did whatever it took that I was supposed to get. And then that's, man, I'd love to say it was, planned out with a budget and all. I pieced it together bit by bit.
Well, once again, a great job. I never would have assumed that or anything like that. So that's the other question that I had as well, because, I mean, this was a long period. You talked to a lot of people. So it's a two-part question. How open were they to tell their stories to you and to reveal a lot of these really personal details that they did? And have you talked to any of them since, even via email or anything?
Wow. So yes, it was it was a process of meeting people and them becoming comfortable sharing. The first interviews were done quickly, so to speak, but they all had their history that brought them to that point. And I had met a few of these people personally. And then as I would show up to their different events and then show up in New York and show up wherever they were, after a certain while, I became more familiar with them and them me, to the point where the personal details were comfortable enough to share with me. And I'm moved by it all. It's just so, it was an honor to meet these people and to gain their trust and to become friends. And so some of them I followed up and traveled to Fresno, California to re-interview somebody in Ohio, drove in different places, and in digital touch with some of them. And it's neat.
So what are some ways that our watchers can help? I know you've got your website, mustangsaviors.com, and you do have a donate button on there. What are some what are some
It
great
actually is, it actually says click for peace. I'm not very digital. I just got something up there now. I'm working on where if you just on demand of the Saviors or Google, find a way to watch it as time goes on, and ways that do occur, I'll let that be known. If anything in particular spoke, there's so many different levels that got this story to where it was. There's the veterans, the wild horses. There's a lot of interest within those two programs or groups potential, where if you heard something that spoke to you as a watcher, all I can say is follow that urge. If you had a prompting that you want to go and help a therapeutic program in some way, go. Or if you want to learn about wild horses and cultivate an understanding of their value and how neat it is that we have them, and help keep them maybe in the world more. So that's what I could say is there's nothing that you can support from me, David Glossberg, or the film Mustang Saviors, except for spread the word. If you do feel anybody would like to watch it, to stay tuned for ways to watch it. There are other film
We just lost you for a second.
festivals that up. Yep.
Oh, hang tight. Repeat that again. I know it's at other festivals. You guys are sweeping some festivals. You guys are getting a lot of Best Documentary awards.
Thank you. Sure. It's the piece, I think, and that I got it done and it's out there. It's amazing to me that I expected it to have a good reception, and now am grateful that I was, along the right path for so long, is all I can say. And it is moving that people are loving to see it and sharing it. So, yep.
What's after us, what's the next festival? I mean, a lot of festivals are going digital, obviously, like we have to. So where's it playing again for anyone that might want to catch it again?
That's exactly it. As far as I know, the one that I can say out loud is that the Chicago Southland International Film Festival. That's in October. Prior to that, I'll see how there is the Mustang Saviors page, and there are other festivals that have it. I'm not organized enough to have it in front of me. I have a business that I operate, and it's a summer business, so it's kept me very busy. Other than this film, so.
Yeah, you besides working on film sets, you have your own business, because we were doing some touch and go earlier and coordinating a Q&A and everything like that. Dealing with this documentary and all of us festival people wanting to talk to you and stuff like that. When do you relax?
I think this fall.
Okay.
And I pray that our TV and film world is back into production in full swing, and reunite with the passion of telling stories with the film and television world that I found myself in and enjoying. So, do you copy?
Yeah, it has been extremely difficult. Yeah, with everything, because film requires being in close quarters with people and communicating with people, and it's become very difficult to make films. Speaking of making films, what's next on your horizon after this documentary? What are you moving on to? Are you going to do another documentary, feature-length film? What are we looking at here?
As I go more into my ideas that I've had for a while, I see some that can surface, and as I figure out how I can make those scripts and then make those into films in my lifetime, that's something that is a dream. So as far as anything concrete, I have this film that I want to see through into more people's lives. And that's really where I am. And as far as anything else, there's nothing yet to announce or anything. However, I am brewing ideas, and that's part of what I do. So.
And I've talked to a lot of filmmakers about that. I do film myself. It's funny. Well, you have this idea. A lot of filmmakers, we have like 12, and you're just trying to figure out which one you're going to pluck out of the air and work on next. What's going to be the next achievable goal. Obviously, none of that's happening right now, or at least if people are doing it, it's in very limited, ability. So kudos to you though, for this film. It's absolutely beautiful. We were very, very proud to be able to show it. Thank you, because a lot of people don't know this. I saw the trailer for this, and I reached out through Film Freeway to David. I was like, I got to have this film for our festival. And fortunately, a lot of filmmakers are like, no, I don't even know what your festival is. And they actually decline us. And then David was very, very kind. So thank you so much for submitting this, for accepting my request for it and allowing us to show it to our audience. This is just a beautiful, beautiful piece of work.
Matt, it's an honor to be part of your festival, and I appreciate it. It resonates with you, and your support has been great, and I appreciate you very much.
Oh, thank you, David. All right, buddy. Get back to work, hustle, do your thing that you do. I know you're an extremely busy man. Take it easy.
Yep.
We love your film. While you're working today, just think of that. There's almost 100 people that watched it that just absolutely love it, I'm sure. So, because it's just such a great, powerful documentary. So thank you so much for your time, David. You have a great day. All right, buddy?
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it all. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.